What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Hump Day Hotline. Hump Day. I am your co-host for the Hump Day Hotline. I am Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. I'm also the host of the Overreaction Podcast. And my friend over there,
I am Jay Spence the King. I am the host of the Code of Conduct Podcast. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing this week?
It is good to see everybody. How are you doing, Jay Spence the King?
I am well. I got some rest last night.
We talked yesterday and you needed rest. I could hear it on. I was like, bro, you are exhausted.
Yeah, I needed rest. It's been a rough few days, so I'm rested. I was looking forward to the Lakers game, but the NBA decided to protest, so now there are no basketball games tonight.
Oh, are you serious? So I saw this stuff on Twitter, but like literally they've walked out. The players have?
No, everybody decided that they're not playing. The WNBA was playing, and every 7 minutes they were going to stop the protest. They've decided to put the teams off the courts as well, so everybody's protesting. So I can actually stick around with you however long you want me to tonight.
Wow. So we had made a pact. We made like a bro pact. It was like, we're only going to do an hour tonight. Like 60 minutes is all we got because Jay Spence has to get to the basketball game. And now we might be here till midnight. So
yeah. You got me all night, guys.
So welcome everybody into the Hump Day Hotline. For those of you that don't know, this is an opportunity for you to chat up, just Jay Spence and myself. And we are running low, or I should say short on weeks before the season starts. And this show is going to take a little bit of a turn when the season starts. When the season starts, we're actually going to get to the format that the show was created for. So Wednesday is the middle of the week. So Wednesday is the day in the middle of the week where you're gonna come on the Hump Day Hotline with us, and we're gonna talk about in the first half of the show when the season starts. We're gonna talk about what happened in last week's game, and then in the last half of the show, we're gonna talk about what's coming up this week. And you guys are gonna drive and you're gonna run the show. But until the season starts, we're just coming up with topics. And tonight, the topics, I saw Bobby is already in the house. Tonight, this is the topic, and Bobby made this sweet graphic for us. What are your thoughts on that, Jay Spence?
First, I think it's hilarious. I love our pictures in the middle there. That's perfect.
Yeah, you've got a crush on me or something. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but we're awful close. So that is Jay Spence and myself, and we're going to talk about all 8 of the wide receivers that are in question in Bill's camp. What's funny about it is he gave Bees the bowl cut guy, like the bowl cut kid, versus the guy next that he put Gabe Davis. Like he could have put Bees with the guy with the curly hair, but he gave Gabe Davis the curly hair. I don't know, but regardless, so that's what we're talking about tonight. So if you've got comments, questions, concerns, if you want to chat us up about the wide receivers, that's where we're going to start. What's up, Steven? Good to see you tonight. Also, for those of you that are new to the format, you are allowed to chat us, and we are going to respond as much as we can. So make sure your chat sticks out. If you really want your question or comment to stand out, super chat us. If you super chat us, super chatters get priority. And as always, make sure you hump that like. Like it up, like it up, like it up.
Hump that like.
Hump that like. It's good to see you guys. And I just saw Robbie was on. So Robbie's in the house.
Yeah, what's up, Robbie?
Yeah, so I don't know how does Tilton do it when he sees who's all. So Corey, I'm on YouTube, so I can see that like Corey Buffalo's in the house. Elliot's always in the house. Like, is Elliot employed by the Buffalo Fanatics? Because that dude is in the chat every night, like, which is awesome. Stephen Campione is here. Ryan Thiel is here. I Captain Chunk. Don't know who that is, but welcome. Dr. Meme is here. Bobby Ray is in the house. F the Jets is in the house. So everybody is making their rounds and showing up and showing us some love. So welcome into the show. So where are we going to start tonight?
Wait, Captain Chunk, what do you mean? Who's about to do? We didn't even start talking yet. Like,
he's reading.
We didn't even start talking yet.
He's reading your mind. So he's reading your mind. So
I like Duke. I like Duke a lot. I do. I like Duke a whole lot. Well, we're going to start off today. We're talking about, obviously, you saw the graphic. The wide receivers have become more of a topic than I really feel comfortable with them being.
Right,
It's always good to have talent and it's good to have competition, but it's also good to kind of, it's like who the guys are. Like in a way, you always kind of know, and then it's like, well, if somebody sneaks onto the roster, cool. This year, outside of the top 3 guys, and now outside of one of our rookies, it's it's looking kind of iffy for some people because the competition is so high. So What do you think? Who do you think is going to make it? How many receivers do you think we're going to have? Who do you think is getting cut?
It's interesting because I think you got to start at the top. So who's not getting cut. You know that, I mean, there's no way that obviously Stephon Diggs is getting cut. There's no way John Brown's getting cut. There's no way that Cole Beasley's getting cut. So that's 3 right there. And in my opinion, and this is a highly debated topic and everybody's talking about it. And I would say that it's the sane people versus the non-sane people. Andre Roberts is making this football team. So that's number 4, right?
That's not even a discussion.
Andre Roberts is making this football, and I got paint on my fingers. I was painting upstairs. I apologize. So I got 4 right there. So then it's literally the other 4. And now Robert Foster's, he's gone, right? So we start with the first 4, and if we're going to start with the second 4, Robert Foster's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we agreed there? Or are we not agreed?
I'm with you. No, I'm 100% with you.
And I would love for somebody in the chat section to make a case for Robert Foster to stick on this roster. I just don't. I know he's a special teamer.
Do we have to?
I'm trying to.
Every week they make a point for it, and it doesn't. He's not making a. Listen, I like him. I was happy when he did well for us a couple of years ago when Josh needed receivers. Last year, I was a little disappointed. He is not making this roster when you have the talent that you have. I don't know if everybody's in the chat has been watching the clips that the Buffalo Bills have been releasing. You see rookies way more than you see. Actually, I don't even think I've seen a Foster highlight. I don't think I've read anybody talk about him outside of the podcasters and fans say he's going to make the team. I just haven't heard about Foster. So, you got to stand out in camp, especially when we don't have preseason games. And he's definitely not doing that. So I just don't see it. I think he'll end up being trade bait, hopefully, for McDermott, and he can get something in return for him. If not, I just think he's going to be cut.
I think that Steve Mathis has predicted, at least he did a couple weeks ago, that he'd be traded to Denver and would potentially be a starter in Denver. And I don't know that he's got that much game. Like you said, 2 years ago, Josh's rookie year, he showed up and stepped up. And then last year, the dude was faced with John Brown and Cole Beasley coming in and kind of melted around the pressure and really didn't get his chances. Sean Munley says the only case for Foster would be if he could supplant Roberts as a returner. That's not happening. I don't know that has Robert Foster. Has he ever returned a kick or returned a punt? I mean, I'm sure he has in his career in college or high school or something, but the pro level is a totally different game. Like Isaiah McKenzie said that on your show. The way Andre Roberts the mindset that he has when the ball's coming, there's no fear. You got 10 guys barreling down on you 100,000 miles an hour, and the dude has zero fear. And that was something that the way that I gleaned it from Isaiah McKenzie was surprising to him too. It was very much like, I've done this before. That dude's fearless.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what you kind of glean. So we're going to remove Robert Foster from the conversation. So that leaves us with 3. Gabe Davis, Isaiah Hodgins, and your boy, Isaiah McKenzie. Comments?
You're forgetting Duke.
Duke. So there's 9 of them.
That's why I said it's going to be tough this year. So it's really, if it was just that where we're saying we got to get rid of Foster and we get to keep both rookies and then we can keep Duke and then we can keep it would be perfect. It's easy. But either way you look at it, we're going to have to cut or trade somebody who really could potentially be a good player for this roster.
Yeah, indeed. It's funny because when I was thinking 8 is enough, the 9th guy that was missing was Andre Roberts. So when I was doing in my head, when I was putting the concept together for this show, when you and I were talking and the graphic came up, the 9th guy I was missing. So do we want to keep Andre Roberts in the conversation, or do we want to pick a number of wide receivers we're keeping and then add Andre Roberts to the end of it? Or do we want to start with a number? It's going to be 6. Andre Roberts is included. It's going to be 7.
See, I feel like it can't. It's 7 or 6. So I don't think it's going to be 7 receivers and then we keep Roberts.
I don't think.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't. I think it's 6 and Roberts. I think it's 7. I think they're keeping 7 this year, and I think I think to your point, there are guys that are tradable, whether it is Isaiah McKenzie or, I hate to say it, Isaiah Hodgins. It's funny because I was reading tweets today where there were some guys talking about like Isaiah Hodgins could sneak onto the practice squad. Like they could cut him and like sneak him in. And I'm like, I'm not so sure. Like I know, what was he, 6th round, 7th round? I'm just not, I'm not completely sure that that's possible. And I think they like Isaiah Hodgins. You know, when you hear even McDermott talk about, you know, these guys coming in and having a handle on the playbook, and they're already fitting in, and like their communication is good. You know, this isn't just a normal rookie wide receiver that was drafted late that's swimming, right? Like he can barely keep his head above water. Like this kid seems to be fitting in. Now, obviously, Gabe Davis is stealing the show, so we might as well start there. So we've got 4, right? So our number 5 is going to be Gabe Davis. So Gabe Davis is making this football team.
He's making this roster.
He's making this roster. So now we're left with Duke, Isaiah McKenzie, and Isaiah Hodgins. And then there was silence.
Okay, well, so everybody here knows that I'm rooting for Isaiah McKenzie. So I'm going to add him to the roster.
This is literally a situation like Tyrod Taylor. There's nobody not rooting for any of these guys. Like,
oh, no. See, so Tyrod, I was ready to move on, and I think a lot of Bills fans were ready to move on. We were rooting for him because he's such a nice guy and he was an incredible guy. But it was split. There was a lot of people who wanted to keep him, but then there was a lot of people who were ready to move on, because not that he was a bad quarterback. Right. He just wasn't an aggressive quarterback. And we were actually at the point where we're ready for mistakes. Like, it's okay, throw an interception, just throw the ball. You know, like we want you to throw the ball down the field. So with Tyrod, I think it's a completely separate.
When I say that, that's a generalization, and it's a generalization about Tyrod being here. So like when Tyrod was a Buffalo Bill, everybody wanted Tyrod to be good, even when there was the beginning of a recognition that he had trouble pulling the trigger on the ball. Everybody likes Tyrod was more of my point. So and I feel that way about these wide receivers. I think for the most part, everybody loves Isaiah McKenzie. For the most part, a lot of people love Duke. Some people don't understand the hype. But when you hear even like Ryan Talbot talk on your podcast today, talk about like the contested grabs that he's making, and he's, you know, other guys are having the ball ripped out and he's not. Like, he's possessing the football. And, you know, I don't know that we've had a great possession receiver in a very long time on this football team. You know, the one that maybe is an enigma is that Isaiah Hodgins character. The problem is, you know, he's a rookie. So as much as some people think that's against him, he kind of has that going for him, because that's an asset that, you know, Duke Williams wasn't a draft pick, right? Isaiah McKenzie was a street free agent as well. Like, they drafted Isaiah Hodgins. So this is where the football politics comes.
There's an investment, right?
Yeah, yeah. You and I have talked about it when it comes to like Cody Ford. You know, the best players will play, and it's like, nah, not really.
Yeah,
the best players don't always play.
Pierre, shout out to Pierre. He said,
keeping
seven receivers could also mean that the team may be more inclined to open up the passing game more. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to throw this wrench in there, because so next week, obviously, I want everybody to go and listen to the Code of Conduct today. Mm-hmm. But next week, I'll have Lorenzo Alexander as a guest on. And one of the things that he spoke about, and you'll hear it in length, is that he feels like, because when he was on the roster, he served so many different roles. So because of that, they were able to keep other players in different positions, or extra players, I should say. You could keep 7 receivers or 3 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. He actually even made mention of the quarterback room. He's like, well, I don't know this year if they're going to be able to keep all 3 quarterbacks, because I was able to play a special teams role, defensive role, and, you know, so now it took 4 guys to replace 1 player in Lorenzo Alexander. So we're talking about 7 wide receivers, and then we're talking about how many cornerbacks are we keeping? Mm-hmm. Are we keeping the same number of tight ends that we had last season? Are we keeping, you know, so it's really, it gets deeper into the conversation past the receivers. I just really can't see us keeping 7 receivers. But Pierre, I mean, good comment. If you really think we are going to keep 7, I hope so. But like I said, when you look at the rest of the roster, I just don't see it.
Wait, Pierre, clarify, 7 plus Roberts, so 8, or 6 plus Roberts, 7? Because that's kind of the topic too, right? We would need clarification on that.
Right.
So is Robert Foster the only guy leaving, or is it Robert Foster and 1 more guy? Because Andre Roberts is making this roster, people. I don't care what anybody says. Andre Roberts is unless unless somebody magically shows up and convinces that staff that they can return kicks, 6+ Roberts, unless somebody magically shows up and they can convince the staff that they can return kicks the way that a Pro Bowler and Andre Roberts can with no preseason, which means that's not even possible. That's the interesting argument that has not come up about Andre Roberts being on this football team. There's no preseason. So there is no, you know what, Andre, sit this one out, or sit the next couple out. We're going to give McKenzie a shot, or we're going to give Robert Foster a shot. We're going to give somebody a shot just to see what they can do. And then like they pull a Terrence McGee and like take it to the house, and everybody's like, who's this guy? Right? Like that's not going to happen because there's no preseason games. So literally you've got Pro Bowler signed to the team. He's here. You know what you're getting in him. He's not leaving. Like they're not going to take that. They're not taking that risk. The dude's on the football team. So 6+ Roberts is what Pierre is saying. So
I see this comment a lot too. Is a lot of people feel that Epinesa will replace Lorenzo Alexander, and I don't see that for a couple of reasons. One, they play two completely different positions. Two, let's just say hypothetically, he was going to play the linebacker position that Zoe played. Okay, but what about special teams? What about the leadership on the defense that Zoe represented? I understand, and Zoe gave that whole speech. We have leaders on the team, but Epinesa is not replacing Lorenzo Alexander. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
No, I agree, and I think Dr. Meme means more about like just in the immediate. So the immediate is Epinesa would replace Lorenzo on the defense, not necessarily like as a vocal leader in the locker room, the guy that's going to break down huddles, at the end of the speeches, not special teams. The problem with that theory, and I like it, I mean, it's a nice thought. Epinesa has been lining up all over the defensive line. He has not been lining up as a linebacker to what we've been told anywhere. So, right.
Another good comment from Pierre. He says that we may remove a spot from running back with Taiwan being able to play multiple positions. So many scenarios. Who knows how this shakes out?
Agreed.
True. But the thing is, he is a running back. And so I know he can play multiple positions. He's making this team. So it's kind of it's the same conversation that we're having about Roberts. It's that, we're going to carry 3 or 4 running backs, but one of the running backs won't be a running back, he's a special teams player. Right. So it just happens, but
that is the difference.
It's a good problem to have, man. Like we haven't had this problem in as long as I can remember.
But that's also the difference with Andre Roberts is Andre Roberts is going to get snaps at wide receiver. So when they go 5 wide, they're going to put Roberts out there and he's going to catch balls. I saw the number. It was like 10%. Somebody put numbers up there on Roberts versus some other specialty players in the league. And Roberts had more snaps than just about everybody else that was being kept. So Roberts is going to play. Not only he's going to stay and he's going to play. He's not going to play 50% of the snaps, but he's going to play 8 to 10% of the snaps, which is significant when you think about it. So, again, everybody, you're watching and you are tuned into the Hump Day Hotline. Couple things. We are here to interact with you. We are talking wide receivers. We're talking 8 guys that the Buffalo Bills are going to have to choose from, plus a special teamer, a Pro Bowler, and Andre Roberts, which actually makes 9. If you want to talk to us, we'd love to have your comments. Super chat us. If you want I see tons of comments are rolling by and we're having a hard time keeping up just because we're actually chatting quite a bit. If you want our attention, super chat us. Also, drop some pressure on that like. Hump the like wherever you are. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, retweet us if you're on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, hump that like, get on the like, and let's get some of our some of our digital media stuff up as far as that goes. What do you got there? Justin H says you're going to see a lot of 4 and 5 wideout sets this season. Bills can really stretch the field. So much talent at wide receiver. That's my hope. What did Ryan Talbot tell you today? He didn't agree.
He didn't. He thinks that especially with not having a preseason, and he just thinks that with the rushing attack that we have, it's going to still kind of be a rush first offense.
Mm-hmm.
We agree to disagree. It was a really good episode, though. If you guys want to take a listen to it, Ryan is awesome. Ryan is awesome.
Yeah, I disagreed with his reasoning when he said that's not really McDermott's style. I don't find McDermott to be the kind of coach that like I'm trying to think of somebody like Duran. Like Dick Duran was like we're gonna run and punt. Like that's the football we play. We run and punt. That's who we are. We for 6 years we're gonna run and punt. McDermott strikes me as the guy outside. I mean, he has a system when it comes to his defense, and he plugs guys into his system. I don't know that he's wholly sold on a system for offense. I think literally they will go with whatever's going to fit them best. So if Dable comes out and says, you know what, we're gonna open this thing up. We've got the talent to open it up and scare the living crap out of people and like throw the ball all over the field. And then guess what? We're going to do what Jim Kelly used to do and then hand the ball off to Thurman Thomas when they're least expecting it. And the entire middle of the field is going to be wide open and Singletary or Moss is going to take off and they're not going to know it's coming. I think there's a chance that this offense is wide open. So
truth to heart say my rebuttal Roberts being a lot. If you look at teams that win, don't have a hard time putting trustworthy people in punt returns or kick returns. For example, Wes Welker, LeGarrette Blount. I understand your point. However, I don't think there's much of a rebuttal for keeping literally the NFL's best return guy. So I mean, I just don't. I understand like there's a bunch of Roberts can't. I'm telling you, he's literally the best at his position in the league. And if he's not the best, he's been top 3 over the past 3 or 4 years. So you don't get rid of somebody who elevates that part of your team that much. You just don't.
It's funny to me how fast we forget about kick and punt returner purgatory, whether it's Chris Watson or, just the times that we've not had good guys back there. Like the year that before Roberts got here, wasn't it McKenzie? It was McKenzie, and they ended up sitting him, and Hyde ended up, right? And all they wanted Hyde to do was just field him. Like McKenzie's fumbling the football all over the feet, like all over the place. So you know what, Micah, get out there and just catch the ball. And that's what we did. And if we get back to that, you want to talk about frustrating. That's frustrating. Like, can you get 6 yards? Can you get 10? If you get 10 yards, that's the first down the offense doesn't have to get. So our boys, Bills Overdue with the super sticker. What is a super sticker?
Honestly, I was about to ask you. I was literally about to ask.
Oh, Pierre, would you like to explain to us what a super sticker is? Thank you for the $4.99 super sticker, Bills Overdue.
Shout out to Bills Overdue.
Appreciate you. If you guys are not tuned in, Bills Overdue is going live on YouTube Saturdays. Is it Fridays or Saturdays? Saturdays, right? Saturdays. So we are here at Buffalo Fanatics literally taking over all the digital waves. So we are now fully booked podcast-wise 7 days a week on Buffalo Fanatics Podcast Network. We're also fully booked 7 days a week on YouTube, streaming live in the evenings. And I think this show is going to move to 9 o'clock so that every show starts at the same time, which will be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I did want to bring this one up. Andrew Miller says that I think we go light on tight ends this year with 3, so we can keep 7 wide receivers.
I tell you what, that is so go back to that. Can you go back to that?
Mm-hmm.
And so my brother, Andrew Miller, that's a great point because the swing in this point is Lee Smith, because Sean McDermott, Brian Dable loved, as much as he made us smash our heads against the wall last year in not knowing the snap counts and had like more false start penalties than anybody. He is going to be the swing player in what the Bills decide to do. So my guess is, if Lee Smith stays on this football team, it's gonna reduce the amount of wide receivers, and we're probably going to go 50-50 run pass. If Lee Smith is, because they like him as a third tackle, if Lee Smith is gone, they're keeping that extra wide receiver, and you're going to see more 4 and 5 wide sets. I could be wrong, but that to me is that's a marker of what you're going to see from this offense, in my opinion. I'd love to know if you've thought about that or what your thoughts are.
Well, first, for the comment, I do agree that it would be smart to go light on tight ends. So, I mean, and then so to your point, I haven't actually thought about it, no, but man, I just, for the first time in so long, I just feel like we have a talented group of receivers that I would try to figure out how to keep as many of them as possible, with whatever I had to do. So if I got to go light and go one less tight end, if I have to, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But it's like I'm trying to figure things out. Where we have extra, let's trim that fat and keep these receivers, and let's make this offense, blow up.
Or trade for a backup quarterback. Trade one of them for a backup. You missed a super chat, by the way. If you can scroll up. I got you, Judge. Your boys got you.
Oh, I didn't get down to that yet. Actually, I was still up. I was still up. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
I don't have thoughts on Brandon Riley.
I don't either.
Yeah.
That was sorry. Womp womp.
Sorry.
I wish I could refund your money.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Thoughts on Brandon. What do you tell us? So Hit it again, Steve. What are your thoughts on Brandon Riley? Give us something to talk about, because I don't have a whole, like, to me, all the attention is on the top 8, right?
Yep. Yep. And I did see this. Kroom has been getting some love lately. Here's the thing about Kroom. I look at Kroom as he's more of a hybrid tight end. So in a way, he's more of a receiver because of his athleticism. He doesn't serve the tight end purpose that we need. And then we have amazing receivers. So as awesome as a guy that I think he is, from what I see, what I gather on his social media accounts and whatever else, I just don't see him making the roster because we just have too many. We have a deep, talented roster. Now, I know what the jokes are about to be when they come in. I'm not going to acknowledge those jokes.
He's trolling us.
But
he's trolling us with that $2. Don't troll us with $1.99. Troll us with more money than that. Come on now. That's funny.
Are we being blinded as Bills fans? Who's the Brandon Riley of this group of receivers? Was the training camp darling? Many were pissed when we let him go. I wasn't. See, I don't understand why Bills fans get upset with the things we get upset at. So, for instance, like Christian Wade won't make the roster. Bills fans get mad.
Lionel Gates. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I'm just saying, like, we fall in love with certain players who clearly still aren't like top talent. Like, clearly.
Like Tyrod Taylor.
Do I love? No, I love Tyrod. No, like seriously, even me. I was guilty of because I wanted to have somebody be good so bad. I fell in love with EJ. Before EJ, everybody thought JP Losman for a moment, like it
was a flash.
Trent Edwards, before like the injury, the concussion, it was like,
Yep.
But these guys just aren't. And yeah, in the comments, somebody else, Mr. Sean, just said even Duke Williams. Duke is a really good, let me rephrase that. Duke is a good receiver. However, he's not a top receiver.
No.
So the thing is, as much as we like Duke, and yeah, we want him to succeed and we want him to do well. The thing is, it's like, am I really going to keep him over Hodgins or like whoever that's playing well?
Yeah.
I want a top guy.
Right. No, I'm in agreement. Bobby Ray, Pierre Stinks. Keep up the good work, fellas. Hump day! Hump that like, yo. Hump that like. We are up to, on YouTube, I'm seeing 35 likes. We got 106 people in here. Y'all better get on that thumbs up button. Click that thing. Take your cursor and go just like that. Don't do this. Don't do that one. Do this one. Like it. Like it up, yo. 36. There goes 41. Now you're on it. Click that like button. Super chat us. And Pierre, I don't think you stink, but I've never been around you, so I can't tell. Bobby, I'm guessing I've seen a picture with you and Bobby in it, so he might know what he's talking about. So
Pierre looks like he wears Curve cologne. He has that look. He has the Curve look. My man Justin says that Tyrod Taylor was one of the greatest scramblers at quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
He checked down too much on deep throws. So here's the thing with Tyrod. Early on, when we first got him, because of his scrambling ability, and that's all he did, it was like, okay, yeah, when Tyrod runs, we love it. But then we started to hate it because he didn't throw the ball.
Yep.
So now the comparisons, it's like, well, how do you love Josh Allen when you hated what Tyrod was doing? The difference is Josh Allen, he doesn't check it down. Like, he literally checks it down the least in the league.
Yeah, so the question that I would ask guys like Justin that feel that way, because I have this conversation often, and the question that I like to ask people is, if you can remember back that far, when the Bills were 3rd and 13, 3rd and 16, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, 3rd and long, right? And even if it's 3rd and like, holy crap, it's really long, 17. If Tyrod had the football and was like dropping back to pass, you didn't have much confidence. The only time you had confidence, the one good thing about Tyrod is when he finally did pull the trigger and release the ball, whoever he was throwing to was wide open. Like, literally, the dude, like, you knew that, like, when he let it go, that ball was getting completed. Josh Allen is the opposite. And Justin, ask yourself this question. Last season, middle to end of the season, when Josh Allen's got 3rd and 13 and he drops back to pass, did you have any lack of confidence that he was going to complete a ball and he was going to make the sticks? You didn't.
No, I trust Josh.
Yeah, it was like he dropped back to pass and you're like, oh, he's got it. Bang, and he threw a first down. And you're like,
But I will say the first year, because I do agree, there was a comment and I had it up and took it down for a second. The first year, Tyrod to Sammy was wonderful when Sammy was healthy. So that very first season when we had him, that long ball connection between Tyrod and Sammy, and then The first touchdown Tyrod threw was like the first drive of the season.
Yeah.
And I'm having a brain fart. What was the guy that got injured, put him on injured reserve? Now he's trying to make a comeback. Somebody in the comments, tell me who Tyrod's first touchdown was to. He was a guy that came over from Seattle, played with Minnesota in the Super Bowl, ran it back.
Oh, you're talking about Percy Harvin?
Yeah. So, like, even in very first drive of the season, Percy Harvin gets a long ball from Tyrod. He has a very good connection with Sammy that entire season. So the thing is, it's like, well, when he was healthy.
Yeah.
So when Tyrod had weapons, he actually was a decent quarterback. So I'm excited to watch him this year. No, he was. That
his
first
last season
you got to give him credit.
His last season, he had McCoy, Woods, and Watkins. And he had Charles Clay his last season.
Watkins wasn't healthy. I'm glad Charles Clay is gone. I'll give you.
You better give me Woods. You better give me Woods too. Like, Woods is a good football player.
Woods is a good football player.
The problem with the argument that you're making right now, and I don't know why the heck we're talking about Tyrod Taylor. We're supposed to be talking about 3 wide receivers, one of which we're going to keep, or maybe 2 of them. I don't know. The problem with the argument that you're trying to make is there's a big difference between 3rd and 8, 3rd and 13. And taking a 7-step drop and throwing a rainbow ball to Sammy Watkins running down the sideline. Those are 2 completely different plays, like 2 different setups. What's going through the quarterback's head is different. The time he has to wait is different. The rhythm is different. Sammy had a great, Tyrod had a great deep ball. Nobody's necessarily arguing that, especially when he had Watkins. But that's not at all the same thing as completing a 3rd and 16 on a bullet, like to a guy that's streaking across the middle of the football field where Tyrod would not throw the ball. He would not throw it over the middle. So I think those are 2 different things. What you got going?
Me and you disagree with that all the time, though, because I feel like his first year and a half, he didn't throw over the middle. Tyrod fixed over the middle, and I don't know why you keep ignoring that.
Because he didn't.
No, he did, though. The 3rd year that he was here, the complaint wasn't over the middle. The complaint was at that point. He wasn't throwing it deep at all.
He wasn't
throwing the first season. He was throwing it deep because we had Sammy, we had Percy. Then he stopped, and then he wasn't seeing over the middle. He fixed over the middle and stopped throwing downfield. And then he stopped scrambling to a certain point, too. He wasn't running as much.
Which is what Pierre just said.
Okay, I'll pull that up. But, yeah, it's like I feel like the problem with Tyrod is when he does something great, then he tries to correct the things that everybody complains about. And then he stops doing the great thing. Instead of doing that and adding to his game, he completely switches. That was my problem with Tyrod. But I have a custom-made signed Tyrod Taylor hat that nobody else has. It's a 1 of 1. I love Tyrod.
Because you can't get rid of it. Nobody wants it.
No, I don't want to sell it. It's awesome. He was the quarterback that took the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs. So I give him respect, but no, man, he's so frustrating because of that.
Or the defense did.
No.
But I don't know anything about that.
Tyrod was a starting quarterback that took us to the playoffs. Put some respect on my guy Tyrod's name. John Brown is a better wide receiver than Robert Woods. Yeah, nobody's debating that.
Ooh, that's debatable.
It's not. It's not. And if you think that, Joe, the last couple of days, I'm questioning your football acumen, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. What's going on.
It's debatable. It's debatable only because Robert Woods has been Robert Woods his whole career. And Robert Woods was overlooked as a Buffalo Bills receiver primarily because Tyrod would not throw him the football. Robert Woods hasn't necessarily changed. John Brown became a different receiver last year out of necessity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to me, that's debatable. And John Brown's much older. So you've got 2 super chats queued up in there. There's one.
I got him. I was waiting for you
to stop talking.
Shout out to my guy Justin. He said it's his first time. Thanks,
welcome.
Man. We appreciate you,
Justin. Welcome.
Tune in with us every Wednesday, man. We'll be here.
Yeah, we are here, and we just love the interaction and chatting with you guys. So yes, stick around and keep coming back. Ryan Thiel. Thanks for the super chat. Okay, let's get back to the 2020 Bills. I'm in agreement. It's been 33 minutes. We gotta come to a conclusion. 3.
If all of the comments are not 2020, I'm not going to ignore everybody in the comments. I'm sorry, Ryan. Well, I'm sorry, Joe.
We went right turn on Tyrod Taylor. I don't know how he got there, but it might have been me. It might have been my fault. I may have rabbit trailed this, so I apologize.
I think it was like a comparison type thing.
Whoopsies.
Oh, but you know what? Somebody did, because I just see Pierre mentioned Peterman. Somebody asked me earlier because I mentioned that. What? No, because you said you want to finish it. I want to finish the points that I was going to go back to make. Somebody asked me if I would be okay, or I was okay with getting rid of Tyrod and keeping Nate Peterman. I actually, at the moment, I was okay.
At the moment.
And I can agree with it. Like, I'll admit it. The reason why I was is because we've seen Tyrod for 2.5, 3 years. So we saw what he was. We knew what he wasn't going to be. Peterman was an unknown, to some degree. He quote unquote won the battle and all this stuff. Let them play.
Yeah.
Now we got Josh. I'm happy.
To me, Nathan Peterman. The Nathan Peterman story is this: he came into preseason and wowed everybody, and everybody was on the play Nate Peterman. And then they played Nate Peterman, and he like completely lost his mind and couldn't play. And then there was a group of those people that were like, play Nate Peterman, that like rolled to the other side of the field and were like, you guys thought this kid could play? You're stupid. And it's like, you thought so too. Like we were all on the same page with Nate Peterman. And then he got in the football game and threw 4 interceptions in a row. And it's like, oh well, never mind. So 2020. Back on topic, Nate Peterman. It's not me. This is not me. Look,
it's me. It's me. You can put it on me 100% because somebody asked me and I didn't want to forget it. So I'm sorry.
I'm not going to Flutie Flakes, Ryan Thiel. Don't even put that on the screen. Don't even put that on the screen. No, that's so back to it. So we are literally stuck at oh, there we go. Justin H. Cutdown day will be hard for this year for sure. I like what Isaiah McKenzie does with the jet sweep. I have a soft spot for Duke Williams. Foster was a beast 2 years ago, going to be out. So Foster, we kind of talked about it. That Foster is the one we've eliminated already. So basically, Andre Roberts is making this team. So we're basically stuck at 6 wide receivers plus Andre Roberts, which means that with Foster gone, that leaves us with Duke, Isaiah McKenzie, and Isaiah Hodgins. Now, I think it was you or somebody was talking about it was somebody else. There's other wide receivers on this team that can run the jet sweep like Isaiah McKenzie. Probably not as fast as Isaiah McKenzie, but there's guys on this team that can run it.
Well, but here's the thing. And I think this is kind of where you're going. So yep. Diggs and Roberts can do jet sweeps. We don't need McKenzie. The thing is, when you say that, I do not want to see Stephon Diggs taking the type of hits you take from doing sweeps. Same thing with Roberts. Again, I understand that we look at Roberts as like a wide receiver that shouldn't make the team. He's a star special teams play. Like he's a Pro Bowl special teams player. So he's way more valuable than, hey, do these sweeps. Isaiah McKenzie, listen, he's going to make, I'm hoping he makes this roster, man. He has to, that's his role and backing up Roberts. Mm-hmm. You don't want Diggs taking those hits.
When you think about what you're seeing in front of you visually as a football player, jet sweeps are kind of similar to running a kick return to the right or a punt return to the right or the left, right? So you would think that like Roberts would have an acumen for it, but I agree with you that I don't really want to expose him, to getting blindsided, by a gigantic lineman that he's not, paying attention to. So yes, and then Diggs is another guy that's not. I mean, if you're going to do it once every 3 games just to surprise an opponent or put it on film so the Patriots are looking for it or prepared for it, I'm good with that. But yeesh, I don't know.
Well, I think that this comment here, I think what we're saying is being misunderstood. We're not saying that we're okay with him getting injured. What I'm saying is we're definitely not okay with Stephon Diggs getting injured during these plays. It's not that I don't want McKenzie to get injured at all. What I'm saying is it's his role. So it's something that he's good at. It's something that he does. I don't want our superstar number 1 wide receiver to be doing plays. I don't want him doing the dirty work. I want him making the fancy, cute plays down the field. So everything we see on ESPN, I want Diggs for that. I don't want him doing these jet sweeps.
Put on Pierre's comment about has McKenzie taken huge hits. That one. And there was another good one above that too. So no, he hasn't. And I've commented on this a couple times. Every single time, this was the frustrating part about those jet sweeps. And I know that there's an aspect of like not wanting to run it too much, which is funny because they run off tackle a lot, right? Or they run a dive a lot. Like, so why can't they run the jet sweep more? To this point, every single time Isaiah McKenzie got the ball in a jet sweep, the defense was literally not caught off guard by the play, but caught off guard by how fast he was. They were diving to catch him. Like it wasn't a situation where it was like, we're just going to tackle this guy. It was like, holy crap, that guy's fast. And so nobody ever really got a good lick on him because of how fast he was. So he's another level speed-wise as far as that kind of stuff goes. What was the one you just put up?
Oh, well, that was Pierre's comment still. Has McKenzie taken big hits one of those sweeps? He's not sure. My man DM3, shout out to Built in Buffalo. He says, we don't need the jet sweep. We ran it because of McKenzie. Now we have the downfield wide receivers just to run and pass. Gimmicks not needed. I disagree. Sorry, man. You were a guest on the show a couple weeks last week, and I'm disagreeing again. I'm sorry, man.
It's part of that RPO game. Like there's an aspect of that whole. It's not a veer, but it's a modernized version of a quarterback run offense that it's just one more hiccup that the defense has to plan for if you put it on film. So it's one more option that the quarterback has to give it to somebody. So in my opinion, they put it on film just to, like I said, keep the defense honest. Like this is one more play they can do. So.
And also, just so you guys know, because I'm seeing comments like this a lot, we're not saying we're keeping him just to do sweeps.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong comment because so many comments are coming in. So thank you all for participating tonight. But there was a comment that was saying that we're not keeping McKenzie just to do one thing or just to run jet sweeps. And here's the thing. McKenzie's role is bigger than just that. You have to have a backup guy for Roberts. You have to have depth on offense. And McKenzie has played wide receiver. So, I mean, it's not like he just did jet sweeps and he just took handoffs. He actually played wide receiver. He had a very similar amount of production when you're comparing Robert Foster hit the first year that we had him when we thought he was doing okay. Mm-hmm. He had the same type of production. So the thing is, I feel like, I think we're overlooking what he's done because we only kind of remember the jet sweeps. But McKenzie's a good player.
He's a good player. So, and he's got a future in this league. And, the reality is we got three guys. So we're going to have to land this plane. So we got Duke Williams, Isaiah McKenzie, Isaiah Hodgins. And we left off with Hodgins. Obviously, we've hammered Isaiah McKenzie with the jet sweeps like into the ground. And I don't know. Somebody put in there like that McKenzie can be a backup to Roberts. No, I don't think McKenzie can be a backup to Roberts. I think if Andre Roberts gets hurt, they're going a different direction. There it is. So
I don't agree. I think they literally, and this is going back to my interview with him. They literally.
You're talking about McKenzie?
McKenzie and Roberts.
I thought you were talking about the backup. Gotcha.
Like to back up Roberts. So when Roberts got here, obviously he took over the starting role for the punt return and kick return, but they literally wanted Roberts here to develop McKenzie. McKenzie is a long-term plan for the team unless he doesn't perform. So like now in camp, if he's not playing well and if he's just not doing his thing and he gets cut, that's one thing. Right. But as long as he's on this roster, they're trying to develop him to be better. McKenzie he's been attached to Roberts' hips. I'm telling you, he's the backup there. I know we've seen him before. A lot of people think differently. I'm telling you what the team is doing.
Well, how often do teams keep backup kick returners?
Well, but he serves again. So
that's not what I meant. I know.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't. Right. So my point is he's either got value on this team as a wide receiver or he's got value on this team as a backup kick returner. Which is it, and which is more strong?
See, I don't think that's a fair question. The thing is, he has value for both. So that's the reason why you're keeping him. When you look at somebody like Duke Williams, is he providing that value on special teams? When you're looking at somebody like, I know we already said Robert Foster's gone, but where else is Robert Foster providing any type of value? So when you have Isaiah McKenzie, who's able to provide some type of positive impact on multiple places on the field, that's why I'm saying he's being kept. I love Duke. I think Duke is really, he's a dog. I think Josh loves him. If he can work his way into the lineup, I think he can do well. But I don't think that he doesn't affect the game as much as McKenzie can. He doesn't affect the game as much as our top four guys, like you mentioned. I don't know. I like Duke. I hope because I see all the questions coming in now. That's why I kind of switched to Duke.
No, we need to because we've beaten McKenzie into the ground, like I said, and then we went right back to him. So, and just so everybody's kind of up to date, so there's 8 wide receivers on this team and Andre Roberts. Andre Roberts is the lock. So we have whittled it down to 6 wide receivers the Bills are going to keep and Andre Roberts, which means they're going to keep 7. So the 4 that they're keeping for sure, we all know the names, right? So you've got Diggs, you've got Brown, you've got Beasley, and we've thrown in Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis has shown enough in everything that we've seen to say that dude is wide receiver number 4 on this football team. So then it turns into, and then we basically said that Foster's gone. We've kicked Foster off the team. So we've got him cut. So it's leaving us with 3, McKenzie, Hodgins, and Duke. We've talked about McKenzie a lot. We would love to know your thoughts on Duke Williams. Why don't we switch to Duke Williams at this point? And if you can make a case for Duke Williams being on this football team outside of, I really like him. He's got a lot of heart.
Right. Outside of that,
and because I agree, and so does Jay Spence, we really like him. He's got a lot of heart.
Ryan, thank you again for the super chat, man. listen to Ryan, people.
Smash, hump that like, or hoof it. I don't know. You were on last night for the Hoof guys. So last night
I watched it after. I caught it after.
Yeah, dude, it was a great show. So last night the Hoof guys debuted, and so they're hoofing the like, we're humping the like. So yeah.
Hey, so Tuesdays you can hoof it, and Wednesdays you can hump it. That's
and they smash it on Mondays and Thursdays. They smash the like on Mondays and Thursdays. So yeah.
Sean says, "What are Duke's qualities? He's big, but not as big as Hodgins. He's slower than every wide receiver on the roster. Suspect hands. See playoff game."
See, the suspect hands things for me is being disproved. Like he dropped one ball in a playoff game, and all of a sudden he's got suspect hands. And like that was one of the things that Ryan Talbot said on your show. Like he's holding on to balls that nobody else is holding on to.
Yeah, right? I don't think that he has suspect hands. I think, but my issue with Duke is, and I know we only have a small sample size. We only have the playoff game, the one game. My thing is, in practice, it doesn't matter. Like there's no pressure.
Right.
It's pressure because you're trying to make the team, but I'm saying it's not playoff football pressure.
Sure.
Is he going to make those same catches when it counts? I don't like. I see it. We're talking about suspect hands with Duke, but not McKenzie. There's another. But yeah, no. I just like I said. I don't see it as being where Duke is. I don't think he has suspect hands. I just think the consistency that we need out of the receiver room, especially having a quarterback like Josh Allen. I just don't think Duke is making it. And I love him like everybody else in this chat room. So don't beat me up, guys. I just think Duke is going to be one of those guys that's going to be a casualty.
No, this is the moment we want. There's over 100 people tuned in right now. So there's 100 of you plus 100 plus 120 of you, 150 of you somewhere around there watching this thing. Make a case outside of he's got a lot of heart and I really like him. Give us a reason to pick, because like Isaiah Hodgins, it's funny because I was tweeting with somebody about Isaiah Hodgins, and I basically said and corrected the person, apparently errantly, that Isaiah Hodgins is not going to be in the slot. And then I was watching something this week on a report about them putting Isaiah Hodgins, 6'4", in the slot, and I was like, okay, like you got Cole Beasley who's 5 foot nothing, and then you got 7 foot tall Isaiah Hodgins as your slot guys, like. If he's going to bring a slot ability outside of Beasley, I mean, I know McKenzie's probably a slot receiver, right? So McKenzie's not an outside guy,
right?
Duke is an outside guy, not a slot receiver. Diggs can play both. John Brown can probably play both, but he's more of an outside guy. You almost got to wonder. I mean, when you start lining it up, Davis is an outside guy, Diggs is an outside guy, Brown is an outside guy. So now we're beginning to eliminate Duke based on outside guys, right? And then you can kind of slide McKenzie in because it's going to be a war of attrition between McKenzie and Isaiah Hodgins. And this is where football politics comes into play. Do they keep Hodgins because they drafted him? And are they done trying to develop and make Isaiah McKenzie the best version of himself that he can be? Like, have they gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? We're going to try to make that kid the best version of himself that he can be.
This is still, I mean, it's a tight end comment, but it's still a wide receiver thing. So they're saying stop mentioning drops when we co-sign for Dawson Knox, who dropped more and reported to still be dropping. I don't know anybody personally who co-signs for Dawson Knox and his drops. We've been very critical of him from his drops from last season.
Yeah, but we also have a Juggernauts t-shirt on the Buffalo Fanatics fan shop.
But I don't think that's co-sign. I mean, I think that's just capitalizing off of somebody who's he's in the media. So I just think that's a capitalization. I don't think it's co-signing that he needs to catch the damn ball. Your brother Duke is a better wide receiver and plays special teams. Josh Allen leaned on him in the playoff game and won the Tennessee game. Has one drop, but Knox leads drops and starts.
Yeah, it's I didn't realize that Duke played special teams. That's news to me. So, did you know that?
I did, but he doesn't. I haven't seen him really impact the special teams, is what I'm saying. I know he plays it, but I haven't seen him like do anything spectacular.
Yeah, he has.
Kelvin Benjamin would have been a better tight end than a receiver. Dude. Yeah,
Kelvin Benjamin is a better Madden player than he is a wide receiver. We'll just leave it at that. So,
Duke is a wide receiver that'll punch other teams' cornerbacks in the mouth. Sometimes you need that. It is true, but guess what? Now we got Stephon Diggs who does that. We got some rookies that do that. We got Davis. A running back that does that. So we have an offense that does that now. Yeah, last season, that's what we all loved about Duke, is that we got to see that, you know what, he's a dog. He's going to punch people in the face.
Energy, got a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. He brings a lot of heart to the football field. At some point, though, Stephon Diggs is showing heart out there, right? I mean, he's coaching up Josh, and it's working. So it's yeah. So do we need to move on?
Actually,
Go ahead.
yeah, but everybody in the comments is starting to try to correct us that he doesn't play special teams. Duke absolutely played some special teams last year. The problem was he wasn't active a lot of the year, so that's why you didn't see him.
They're not correcting us. I didn't know.
Well, no, they keep saying. Well, I just said that he did.
Yeah.
So they're like, Duke never played. Yes, he did. He just didn't. He wasn't active often. So yeah, no, he didn't.
Gotcha. So we are, or you are tuned into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Fanatics network, multicast network. We're glad to have you with us. If you're just joining us for the very first time, smash that like button, hump that like button. You can super chat us. You can chat us up. We will answer your questions. We're talking about wide receivers, and we are down to 3: Isaiah McKenzie, Isaiah Hodgins, and Duke Williams. And we've got to keep. What do we have? We got to keep one of them. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
No, wait, 4. No, we got 2 of them. Are we keeping 2 of them? Hang on a second. I'm not going to recap. I might have to take my shoes off.
Well, are we keeping 6 or 7?
We're keeping 6 plus Andre Roberts. So Duke,
okay.
or I'm sorry, Diggs, Brown, Beasley, Gabe Davis, right? So we're talking about keeping 2 more. So we're talking about only eliminating one of these guys because we've already eliminated Robert Foster. So Robert Foster is gone. So we're talking about keeping 6 plus Roberts, which leaves us at 7, which is abnormal. That's not a normal wide receiver room as it pertains to like what teams usually carry, especially when you consider that Andre Roberts plays wide receiver, so he will be in the game and catch balls. So we're eliminating one of Duke Williams, Isaiah McKenzie, and Isaiah Hodgins. I think Isaiah Hodgins sticks, and I think the reason that Isaiah Hodgins sticks is because they drafted him. So for me, it comes down to Duke and McKenzie, and I'm glad I don't have to make this decision. What do you? Is that where you're at?
Andrew.
What's that?
No, I was just saying thank you to Andrew. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You were asking me. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if Hodgins is, unless they think that they can, as somebody said, cut him and sneak him on the practice squad, which I doubt. Then it comes down. Yes. Then it comes down.
They're not cutting their rookies.
I don't disagree. I'm just telling you what people have said. So I'm just saying I can't imagine that that's possible, but maybe. The reality is at this point, are they trading one of those guys? And if one of them's tradable, who is it? Let's start there. Who's the more tradable wide receiver? In my opinion, it's Duke Williams.
You got me.
You don't know, or you agree?
I don't know if I agree at all, and I don't know because the thing is, so last season. I didn't think based on because I watched Duke in the CFL and I actually watched him in college. So I knew what type of talent he was. I didn't think that we would be able to sneak him onto the practice squad last season. When they cut him towards he made it. This year, going into he wasn't active all the time. I know in Buffalo we love him. Is that part of the goggles that we are? And I know he played well in Tennessee. I get it. He caught the game winning touchdown, but he still wasn't active for a lot of the season. So I don't know. I just feel like I get it. We come in here and we chat and we have our opinions, but at the end of the day, these coaches know what they're doing. Well, we like to think they do. They're professional coaches. I can't see Duke being trade bait if he couldn't even be active most of the season.
I think
there's a reason we drafted 2. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
No, you're fine. I didn't mean to cut you off. I think the difference between Duke and Isaiah, and we probably won't agree here either. I think Isaiah has, since he got here, Isaiah has improved and he's made progress. He hasn't made marketable progress the way that Duke has. Duke has changed his game from who he was in the CFL. I think he was out of the league for a little bit, right? And then coming back and then was really raw, really rough. And what he was turning into last season and who he potentially has become this season. I think if there's a tradable guy, it's probably Duke, which means that then that leaves you with, if there's something out there for them to get for him. And I think Duke is possibly the odd man out just because of we've got outside guys already. I mean, I don't know if there's a good decision. This is gonna keep McDermott up like at night. This is gonna keep the coaches
absolutely.
I mean, they're not gonna. Yeah, I mean, it might come down to fit. This decision literally might come down to fit. So just personality.
And that's where I was going to go too. So my next question to that, before I talk about James Snead's comment here, one of the things that I wanted to ask was that what's the offense going to look like? Are we going to look like a team that needs Duke to punch people in the face, or are we going to be stretching the field and then punch people in the face with our running game? Like, so, when you look at this roster, I feel like the way it's being constructed, I don't think Duke is. I just don't think he's fitting. But James said Duke was big in the playoffs, so I could see some trade interest. He was big in the sense of being a homer. He dropped a touchdown.
Yep. Yeah, but John Brown didn't get his feet down on a potential game-winning catch as well.
You're right, but John Brown has 1,000 yards last season.
He did.
So it's just a different conversation when we make certain comparisons. Duke had the ball out to make the game day roster. Mm-hmm. He made it a couple times. He had a big game in Tennessee. He had some good catches in the playoff game, but he also didn't show up when it mattered. That was what we just talked about 5 minutes ago when I said he makes all these incredible catches in practice. We see everything that the Bills have posted, all of these beautiful catches. In the playoffs, when the ball was in his hands, and I know we were joking. I think Pierre told me it was Rico that ended up making that joke. We were joking like, "Oh, it was his ankle." Listen, it was in his hands. So, I get it. He had big games, and he's this, he's that. He played well. He didn't. He dropped the touchdown in the playoffs that was in his hands.
So it sounds like you've got Duke gone.
I got Duke gone.
So
I think I just decided.
So your sixth is McKenzie.
Yeah.
So that puts us at Diggs, Brown, Beasley, Gabe Davis, right? McKenzie, and Hodgins.
Yep. That's what I'm rolling with.
I can't say that I would be disappointed by that. I mean, can you? I mean, it's. I don't know that that's a situation where I'm like, oh man, what are they doing? I can't. It's not when they cut Nigel Bradham. Remember when they cut Nigel Bradham and everybody was like, what in the world just happened? Was it Bradham? No, it wasn't Bradham. It was who's the linebacker that they cut just like on a Saturday before the first game of the season for no reason, and he was actually, we all thought, prety good. It was when they had the ugly jerseys. It was a long time ago. Sorry.
Everybody hates those jerseys. I actually liked them.
I did too. I'm ADD, so I apologize for everybody for that. So, but yeah. Anyways, it was rumored he was injured, so the Bills just straight up cut him, just dumped him like Saturday before the season opener. It was not Tank Carter. Tank Carter got cut before the season started. Like he went down on cut day. Yeah. So where's Rico back? Oh.
Listen, nobody's saying that Duke isn't an animal. We like Duke. I just don't think he's going to fit. And again, if we're talking about past performances, he didn't show up in the playoffs. I know.
I'm not going to crucify him for one game. That's just me.
Okay. I want guys to perform in the biggest moments.
Well, he did. There was a huge moment in the Tennessee Titans game when he caught that game-winning touchdown.
It was
a huge. It was for the game. It was for the game. I mean, it wasn't the playoffs.
If we would have lost the Tennessee game, we still would have made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but we didn't know that at the time.
What I'm saying is, though, that game didn't matter as much as it did when we were in Houston. We went home. There was no more football for Buffalo after that. Duke makes that catch. It doesn't matter. It's not even going to overtime.
See, I had this conversation with Robbie on 716 Sports yesterday when he interviewed me, and he wanted to lay the blame for that game on Duke Williams too. There was a lot of blame to go around in that game. Dawson Knox makes that block. We play football the next week too. Cody Ford doesn't get called for that penalty. If Micah was it Hyde and Levi Wallace that missed Watson and spun him out of that tackle, they sack him. There's so much blame to go around in that football game. You rewatched it, you should know there was a lot of blame that shouldn't all go on Duke Williams. He should be the only one that's holding that bag, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not in disagreement. If it turns out to be Isaiah over Duke, it is what it is. How old is Duke? I'm gonna Google it.
He's young. He had a couple years out of the league because of some off-field issues where he went up to the CFL, but he's still a young guy. And I'm rooting for Duke. I think a lot of times too, and I'll say this because I think a lot of times when Joe or myself or even just anybody from the Fanatics or just whoever, when you guys are watching these things, I think you think when we say something and we're critical of a player that it kind of means that we're not in favor of them or we don't like them. It's not true. We like Duke. I see a lot of comments now thinking that I'm not a Duke fan because I'm being critical of the playoff game. Yeah. I love Duke. I want him to go somewhere and succeed, but I love the Buffalo Bills more. So I want the best talent on the roster who's going to perform in big moments. That's what I want. I don't want people around Josh who he feels like is not showing up. So then he has to revert back to hero ball like he did in the playoffs because his team, it's the point. When he felt like the team wasn't showing up for him, that's when he did all of the silly stuff that he was doing.
True.
So what I'm saying is I get everybody saying it's one drop pass. Okay, that one drop pass was part of the reason why Josh said, okay, I can't throw it here. Then
that pass happened after the flip the flip backwards to Dawson Knox.
It was in overtime?
The flip back to Dawson Knox was late in the game.
That was very
I'm
late.
sorry, Duke's pass was late in the game.
Duke wasn't overtime.
Yeah, but I don't think it was I don't think he started doing hero crap way before that. Like the whole
regardless when it was in the game, Josh needs to trust these guys, and these guys need to play big for him.
Well, the guy he's going to trust the most is the guy he's thrown to now 7 times and beating the defense and making him mad, and Stephon Diggs. So we are at the point where we have pretty much landed the plane. What is 27? Trey White.
That's not the comment I was going. Again, these things are coming in so quickly. I
love it, man. It's about to be
it's good.
Wait until week 1 of the season, like between week 1 and week 2, you won't be able to keep up at all. So where we have landed, reluctantly, I would say, what?
I think that is that the age you're talking about for.
Yeah. So Duke is 20. I was going to get there. Duke is 27. Isaiah McKenzie is 25, and that may make a difference as far as that goes. As far as what the coaches think about trying to work with an old dog versus a not as old dog. So where we have landed on the wide receiver debate is the Bills are going to keep 6 wide receivers plus Andre Roberts. They're going to keep 7 wide receivers. Andre Roberts is making this football team. If you want to know why we believe that, you're going to have to rewind the show and listen to it because we made valid points.
With this comment from Cody, I know you log in a ton of quite a bit. So I know you don't believe this comment because I give John Brown a hard time for not dragging his feet. So I know we haven't talked much about John Brown today because we feel like he's just a lock for the roster. So that's why we haven't talked about it. But I give him a tough time for that. I give everybody a tough time for that playoff loss. We shouldn't have lost the game.
You give me a tough time about that playoff loss.
Everybody, honestly, I get it. We can't blame it on the defense because they held Deshaun Watson to 19 points. Right. But you held them to 0 points in the first half. So the fact that you gave up 19 in the second half and overtime, that's what bothers me for the defense. The offense, and this is coaching. We shouldn't have been as passive coming out of the second half. We should have been more aggressive and try to score more points. I'm critical of everybody. It's not just Duke.
It's interesting to me. I like it. I like. Excuse me. I just burped. I absolutely like seeing the people react.
Thank you, Pierre. That's what I thought. Go ahead.
I love seeing the people react to Duke Williams, our idea that Duke Williams gets cut and McKenzie gets kept. I would love to know if there's any McKenzie apologists out there. So if we switched it and we said that Duke makes the roster, McKenzie does not, do we get the same backlash? Are there this many comments and this many people telling us why Isaiah makes it over Duke and that we're crazy? That Isaiah is not just a one-trick pony that just does jet sweeps? I mean, I guess some people were up there saying it when we were talking about McKenzie, right?
Yeah.
There's 25 McKenzies in the league. That's true.
There's a ton of slow, big wide receivers too. So there's a ton of Duke. I'm just saying, we gotta let's keep the same energy across the board for everybody, and I typically do.
Joe, put the Daniels comment up there. Can you see it? What was I thinking during the playoff game? I was literally thinking this game's over every 3 seconds, and then Josh Allen would throw a first down, and I was like, "Oh my God, how did he make that pass or make that throw?" I haven't relived it much. The BF crew got together and they all watched it together, and I did not watch it with them. What was I thinking? I was an emotional basket case. I mean, it was, how many times was that game over? How many times was it over for both teams in the sense of when they ran that quarterback sweep to Josh Allen the second time, I thought Josh Allen was going to score, and then the dude came out of nowhere and planted him 6 feet into the turf because somebody, 2 guys missed their blocks. So many plays it was third down and or late downs, and Josh came up big, and you could call it a hero ball, but he was throwing darts at Singletary, and everybody on the planet was, oh my God, how did he make that pass? You've got to be kidding me. The kid came to life, and then he made some dumb plays, like the one where he pitched it behind his back. I know what he was thinking. He just should have thought better, right?
Yeah.
The pass
he just shouldn't have thought that.
The pass to John Brown that John Brown didn't get his feet down was a gorgeous pass. The pass to Duke Williams that Duke Williams dropped was a gorgeous pass. Like Josh Allen kind of came into his own in that football game, regardless of Kevin and some others thinking that he made a ton of mistakes. He played a heck of a football game. I was heartbroken, like everybody else. I don't know that I have necessarily feelings. I haven't relived it a whole lot. So that's one of the few games I haven't watched a bunch replayed. Yeah. I've got it recorded. I just haven't watched it.
Now I'm getting some snarkiness in here. Your brother asked me if McKenzie showed up. He didn't drop a ball in the end zone.
Well, he wasn't in the game.
So I'm saying he didn't drop a ball in the end zone.
So we got to talk about trust. So that's a trust issue. So when you're talking about the coaching staff having Duke in the game and McKenzie not in the game, where does that put the weight in the favor of one of these two guys making the roster? Does that put Duke over McKenzie?
How many games was McKenzie active versus Duke? I don't know the stat.
I think that there's a difference between Duke clearly had trouble getting a whole. I don't know the stat either. I know. I believe. I don't want to say I know. Somebody can probably look it up. I believe Duke was inactive more than McKenzie. However, Duke had more curve time getting a handle on the roster because Duke was not here in 2018. McKenzie was. So McKenzie had a handle on the roster, whereas Duke did not. So and I know that was one of Duke's challenges was, if I'm not mistaken, was kind of getting into the playbook and getting it down and understanding where he was supposed to be and what his reads were and stuff like that. So and then once he started getting that stuff, that's when they started letting him play. So, but in the playoff game, he was the one on the field getting balls thrown at him. Isaiah was not.
Shout out to Jamal. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
What did it say? I didn't even get a chance to read it.
He said, I was trying to get to there's so many coming in, but he said he agrees with everything I said. Big facts.
You never put up the stuff when people say they agree with me.
Well, you haven't said much today, so nobody's agreeing with you, Joe. Nobody. And it's only because everybody's either yelling at me or a couple people are agreeing with me.
I haven't
because everybody wants Duke to make the team.
I'm just going to turn my microphone off. I'm going to be like, forget this. Like, I don't know. Where's the button at? I'm out.
What is that?
I don't know. Some avatar that they give you automatically when you turn your camera off.
I like the crown. I like that.
I'm Joe the King.
Welcome to the team.
Jay Miller the King.
Stephon Diggs drops neither of those passes. Thank you, Cody. See, we just had a disagreement, and now we're back on the right. We're back on the right page.
The world makes sense again.
How many people agree with Joe tonight? Because he was. I think Joe feels like he's not getting much love. There you go. You got one.
One. It's not. There you go. Thank you, Richard.
What do you agree with Joe about though? Because he doesn't have many takes.
Are you high?
No, you haven't had many takes tonight.
I have been defending every single person you have been trashing all night long.
Who have you defended that I'm trashing?
I haven't defended Duke Williams against Isaiah McKenzie.
Haven't you just also said that you would see him gone as well? You see him not making the roster. I'm not.
No, I said that's where. I said, is that where we're going to land? I said, is that where we're going to land? I agreed with you in the sense of, are we landing at a place where if there's one of them that's more tradable than the other between Duke and Isaiah, it's going to be Duke that's got more value. Therefore, Duke is the one that's gone because we believe they're going to trade him for an asset, right? Hopefully a backup quarterback. They're going to trade him for an asset, and then McKenzie makes the team by default. That's kind of where we landed. But I did by no means was I like saying that McKenzie's the guy, some sort of a lock. I mean, I've got a lot of.
I don't think those guys are locks. No, I'm saying those. That's my picks when we're saying okay, let's get it there.
You've got a love affair with Isaiah McKenzie. I mean, come on.
No, I don't. I'm looking at. Okay, so first,
Isaiah McKenzie is your Christian Wade.
No. If Isaiah McKenzie's gone, I'm not upset at the Buffalo Bills.
Over Duke?
If Duke is gone, I'm not upset with.
No.
I'm not upset.
If McKenzie's gone and Duke stays, you're not upset.
I'm not upset. No,
okay.
Whatever they do in the wide receiver room, as long as Stephon Diggs, John Brown, and Cole Beasley is on that field, I don't care. Like, I'm happy. So I don't have the love affair that a lot of fans have with like Christian Wade or the way we had it a few years back with other wide receivers and stuff. Gotcha. I'm just saying, like, I see more value in different areas for Isaiah McKenzie than I do Duke. I like Duke. And actually, I got receipts. When we get off of this, I'm going to pull it up on Twitter. I'm going to show y'all. When he was in the CFL, I wanted the Bills to look at him. And when they brought him here, I'm like, yo, this dude going to be a problem for a while. So I love Duke. But we've upgraded our entire roster. I wanted Duke here when our number one receiver was Kelvin Benjamin. Now our number one receiver is Stephon Diggs.
Oh, that's not the conversation at all. We're not.
No, but it is.
Nobody's talking about Duke Williams or Isaiah McKenzie playing over Stephon Diggs.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not the point. But it is the conversation. What the point that I'm making is the roster wasn't good when I was banging the table for Duke the same way everybody in the comments are. Now the roster has improved greatly. So when you're talking about Duke Williams making a roster then as opposed to now, it's different. I won't be hurt if he leaves. If Isaiah McKenzie's gone, you're not going to hurt my feelings. There's 3 people on the offensive side of the ball right now outside of Josh Allen that I would be pissed off if the Bills let go of, and that's it. Outside of that, none of them.
There's more than 3 for me.
No, it's 3 for me.
Just
Diggs 3? And both my running backs.
You're not pissed if Beasley's cut?
No, I love Bees. He's the most open guy in the league. But
my prediction this year, because of John Brown and Diggs on the outside, is that the 2,000 yard receivers on this team are Diggs and Beasley.
I agree. I think Beasley's going to eat, and if you haven't picked him up for fantasy, go do it.
Yeah, I think John Brown comes in about 750, and Diggs is double covered. The other cornerback goes to John Brown, and then linebackers. They're trying to cover Beasley with a linebacker and doubled over with a safety, and he's just going to. Yep, he's going to be open every freaking play. So that's what I think.
I had a good question that I just lost because everything jumped in here. You can keep going. I'm going to try to find it again.
I don't know that I got anything. Hi, everybody. So you are tuned into. I'll just do the top of the show stuff. You are tuned into the Hump Day Hotline with your co-host, myself, Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, right there at Joe Miller Wired, and my co-host over there. There it is, Jay Spence the King. We are excited to have you with us, all 130 of you that I can see that are tuned in. I think it's more than that because that is not across all platforms. Whatever platform you're viewing on, smash that like, hump the like, get us up there. It helps with our metrics, with our digital metrics as far as Google and stuff like that. Super chatters get priority. You can only super chat on YouTube. So if you've got a comment, we're going to be wrapping it up here soon. If you've got a comment, if you've got a question, I would say this. So we're probably pretty much done. I think I'm starting to freeze. We're probably pretty much done talking about wide receivers. So if you've got something outside of the wide receiver room that you want to talk about, if you've got a question, if you've got something you want to bring up, if you've heard something on my podcast about being worrisome or what we should be worried about on Monday, or if you've got something you want to talk to Spence about, hit us up, chat us up. If it's a situation where my conversation with Pat Moran about starting a podcast, if you want to you got a question about that, bring that up, because Spence and I can both speak to that, because that was
a very good podcast.
It was a good time. So he's so easy to talk to. Like,
I can tell.
Yeah, he's just a good dude. But both of us have brand new podcasts, both Spence and I. So we're both very young in the game. So if you got a question about starting a podcast, let us ask us a question about that. So Cody.
RD706 says, do we want Marquette King to come to the Bills? Yes or no?
Yes. I'll take that attitude problem. The punter sits on the bench anyway. Who gives a crap what his attitude is like? Just get out there and kick the ball. Like, right?
I don't feel like he has an attitude. I just feel like they're used to punters being quiet.
No, he's a cancer. He's a cancer. There's a reason he's not on an NFL team.
No, he's not a cancer. I think that's a bit much to say.
Then why is he not on an NFL team?
Because he's been blackballed. He's not a cancer.
But why?
Because he's not the quiet, typical punter that most punters are. He has personality. It's completely different. I think it's a bit much to say he's a cancer.
I don't know why he's not. People say that. People say it's because of the money. The reality is, at the end of the day, he's not getting offered a contract. So if he wants $10 million a year and the only offer he gets is $1 million, he's playing football. So I don't know what it is, but I'd take him in a second, and I'd tell him to shut his mouth and get on the bench and kick the ball when I need you to, because he's better than Corey Bojorquez and Lachlan Edwards.
He's better than a lot of kickers in the league. He's better than a ton of guys.
Yeah, he's better than almost all of them. So for sure. What's next?
He says, so did McAfee. He was fine. Let's get off the punter situation and let's talk about something else.
The punter's a hot topic for me because I overreact about the Corey Bojorquez.
Well, no, it is, but again, what these type of topics always go to. So I'm just trying to steer clear of that.
So like Zach Allen puts up there, like, Daniel, with the extra reps, does Cam Lewis make the team? You can answer that one.
No.
No. There you go. There's your answer.
No. But I was looking. You said Zach had a comment. Here we go.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. He's just more vocal than most punters. Vocal about what? He's a punter. Like, who gives
everything?
a crap?
But he's a personality. He talks. He dances in front of the camera. He's just a goofball, and he has so much personality. I'm telling you, he's been blackballed, and it's not with the cancer. It's definitely not because he's a cancer.
So why is it okay if Cam does it, but it's not okay if Marquette King does it?
Because Cam is a quarterback. And it wasn't okay that Cam did it. A lot of people hate that Cam. A lot of people hate on Cam. This, Joe. Come on.
Sure. I'm just asking you. I'm asking you why it's not okay for Marquette King to do it. Just because he's a punter? And I can accept that. That punter's supposed to know his position, know his play, know his role. Know your role, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's fine. I'm good with that.
Yep.
I'm not trying to drag you into a conversation. So I'm
honestly,
it's a relevant question.
There's only one answer for me. So, and I don't want to.
I'm putting a
go
comment
there.
Oh wait, I just lost it. Where'd it go? I'm putting a comment up.
See, that's been happening to me all night.
I'm not an Apple fanboy, but I have a whole lot of Apple products around me. I've got a 27-inch iMac. I've got my iPhone plugged into my iMac to use as my webcam, and I've got my 13-inch MacBook Pro that I'm monitoring everything else on my left. So I'm an Apple guy.
And I'm completely opposite. I'm Android, and I love PlayStation. I don't play Xbox.
I don't play video games, period. I'm old, and I have kids.
You know what? I'm tired of y'all telling me I sound like Coach Tomlin. And then he said I look like him with my blank stare. Y'all not about to keep telling me I sound like Coach Tomlin.
Dude, somebody was calling me out the other night about sounding like Seth MacFarlane again. It was Dave. I think it was Tilt Money. Tilt Money was calling me Seth MacFarlane again. I sound like Brian the dog. I know. I'm aware. You don't have to tell me.
What's your This is a good one because we're 2 weeks away.
Elliot's been quiet tonight. Where you been, Elliot? So what's
your stat prediction for Josh Allen for week 1? The dumpster fire that is the Jets.
Dude, that's a conversation worth having. The Jets today,
it's a great comp.
Yep. And the one thing I did not see come up. So Gase in this scrimmage where his offense is getting destroyed by his second team defense, and his defense is getting destroyed by his second team offense, pulls Bell off the field and then says he's got tightness in his hamstring, which Bell then comes back and says, I don't have any tightness in my hamstring at all. Nobody said, well, you remember that he didn't want you anyway, right? Nobody mentioned the obvious, but what a joke that football team is. It's hard to believe.
It's horrible, man. It's horrible.
And Jets fans are calling the Bills a poverty franchise. I'm like, wait a second. So
I think I read somewhere too, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think I read somewhere that there's already rumblings as far as the running backs room as well. Like Le'Veon Bell was already very upset that he's not getting the majority of snaps in practice.
He should be.
But what I'm saying is that it's so much, there's so many different bad stories coming out of New Jersey. It's insane.
Yeah, no, he should be. So stat line for game 1 for Josh Allen, I think he has 325 yards, 326 yards. I think he throws for 3 touchdowns, rushes for another.
So you think the first 300-yard game?
Oh, dude, I think they're going to come out and prove a point week 1 of the NFL season. I think they're going to he has the rainbow down. He's got the rainbow down.
Yeah.
He's going to have 1 or 2 rainbow balls in that game. I'm not saying they're both going to go for touchdowns, but he's going to have 1 or 2 rainbow balls in that game.
I agree. Actually, I'm similar stats, 300 plus yards passing. I give him 60 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, maybe a touchdown on the ground as well. I think Josh is going to come out and kill.
And just so everybody knows, I'm not saying that he's going to come out and throw for 326 and 3 touchdowns and rush for another, and every week is going to be better than that. I just think that they're going to come out and they're going to put on a show. They're going to see what works. All right, let's see what works. Right? They're not going to come out. They're not going to come out and feed Zach Moss and Devin Singletary and just try to scoot out of there with a 12-9 win. Is my point. They're going to line up.
You think they scored 14 points on us?
I didn't. Did I say that? No, I didn't say that.
No, I'm asking. I put this comment up. I'm asking. Do you think they scored 14 on us?
HE double hockey sticks. No.
Yeah, I see them with 9, maybe.
My butt. They'll be lucky to kick a field goal in that football game.
I read one of the reporters today from New Jersey said that the starting offense literally couldn't score at all against the defense.
So you think they're going to score 12 or 9 against our defense? No.
Well, I give them a few field goals is what I'm saying. Like I don't see them scoring like that. I just think if the players who opted out didn't opt out, and so there's definitely factors. The Jets are a lot worse than they normally would have been. They're a lot worse because of the pandemic. I'm telling you, losing Mosley on defense hurts them. That hurts. Offensively, I don't know what they were thinking getting rid of Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson, yep.
I don't know what they were thinking. Same thing. Bell should be getting the majority of snaps. It shouldn't be Gore. We all know who Frank Gore is at this point of his career. We love him, but we remember Frank Gore.
Well, let's be honest. I don't think. Listen, this is a controversial statement, and I apologize. I don't think Darnold has shown enough yet to be given the keys to the offense. If that's the case, that offense goes through Le'Veon Bell. Like 60% of the time, he gets the football, or 70% if it's screen passes. Like, to me, that offense goes through him, and that'll give you more of a chance. I'm not going to lie, dude. There's a chance that Trevor Lawrence is on that football team next year.
I mean, I hear that, but see, the way I look at it is like, it's not Sam Darnold that's the problem. It's the coaching. It's the coach. I mean, come on, Sam Darnold is a better quarterback.
It's absolutely the coaching, but there's a point where a player, a quarterback specifically, has been miscoached long enough that he's not recoverable. EJ is one of those guys. Like, there's a point where the quarterback gets 3-4 years in where it's like, I can't fix him. Like, it's over.
Yeah. What about this one? You think we could beat the Chiefs this year?
Oh, you and I had this conversation.
Yeah,
one of us picked a victory. One of us didn't. I picked a loss. You picked a victory.
I did pick a victory. I think so. That Thursday night game, for starters, actually, everybody in here, Joe and I will be doing a lot. Can we announce that yet?
Sure.
Joe and I will be doing a live show. We don't have the location yet, but we will be doing a live show
on location
in Buffalo.
In Buffalo, Hump Day Hotline
for that game. So Thursday night game,
Hump Day Hotline on Thursday live in Buffalo.
So if we'll have details out. If you guys can make it out to join us, we would love it. I would love to meet all of you that's in here killing me every week. It would be a ton of fun. But my take on it is that I really think that's going to be the game that the league is really going to obviously push Josh versus the league MVP, not last year, but you're going to, they're going to push it.
Yep.
And he's going to, I think he's going to come out and make a statement. And I think the Buffalo Bills are really going to show first that our defense is really legit.
Mm-hmm.
Then secondly, I think Josh is just going to be, I think at that point of the year, though, the conversation will be, is Josh Allen an MVP candidate? I don't even think it's going to be.
Pierre, is that you?
No, you know my take on that.
I'm just kidding. No, So my comment is this. I don't think the Bills are going to get crushed in that football game. I don't think it's a situation where we're going to get embarrassed. I picked the loss because I think the Chiefs are the standard in the NFL right now. And even if you get up on them by double digits, they're not out of the football game. They did it twice in the playoffs, once in the Super Bowl. So there's an aspect of we're going to really find out what this football team is in Buffalo on Thursday night against the Chiefs.
I tell you what, if the Chiefs, well, I can't say that because we're up 16 in the playoffs, but I'm saying if the Chiefs go down like that against this defense, I would hope at a home game, if at that point fans are allowed, I'm hoping that there's no way possible that they come back from any type of deficit like that.
Unless the Bills turtle shell, which is what they've shown in the past.
They have, but it's a completely different team.
It is a completely different team.
So that's what we're hoping for. That's what
Rico in the house.
My man Rico is trying to be funny tonight because he's asking how Joe got Coach Tomlin as a guest tonight on the Hump Day Hotline.
How did Seth MacFarlane get Mike Tomlin on the Hump Day Hotline?
Shout out to my guy Rico. Hey, if y'all don't check out my man Rico, I'm telling you, it's one of the most entertaining shows.
Yeah, dude.
That covers the Buffalo Bills, just period. It's hilarious every week, especially when he gets his wife on there. It's hilarious.
Rico, Pat Moran is a big fan. So just so you know. So
will Sammy be healthy for that game?
Who cares?
Yep.
Sammy ain't going to be the difference, in my opinion. So, hey, we got another super chat. Super chat. What's up, Ryan? Diggs is making Josh and our receivers better. The interesting thing about Diggs making Josh and our receivers better is it goes beyond practice. It goes beyond communication. It goes beyond having rhythm. It goes beyond familiarity. It goes beyond all the stuff they're talking about. The reason Diggs makes Josh and our receivers better is because defenses did not have the ability to double cover anybody. They didn't have to double cover anybody on that offense last year. This year, they're going to have to double cover Stephon Diggs, which means that there's going to be single coverage on John Brown and a linebacker on Cole Beasley.
Well, but this is go ahead, because
and Dawson Knox as well is going to have no cornerback on him. There might be a light safety help, but yes, he's going to make everybody better on that field just because all the attention is going to Stephon Diggs.
I just don't think they can double Diggs, man.
Oh, they can't. He's still going to catch his balls. I'm not saying
that. No, I'm not even saying it as far as like he's not going to catch his balls. What I'm saying is I don't think they can double Diggs. If you double Diggs, you don't have a spy for Josh. You don't have, you know what I mean? Like, so that's what I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing at your point. I'm more so saying like if a team is crazy enough to come in and double Diggs, they better
have two lockdown corners. They better have Stephon Gilmore on one side and Trey White on the other side. The reality is this: there's even if they do double cover Diggs, he's gonna beat them. Not like crazy beat them, but he's going to beat them. If they don't double cover Diggs, it's death by Diggs. Like he's going to have 200-yard games.
Man,
do you not see that? He's going to have 200-yard games. If they don't double cover him, he's going to have 200-yard games. And the point you just made, nobody's talked about. If they double cover Diggs, Josh Allen will have no spy because they have to roll coverage to Beasley and they have to roll coverage to Knox. And if they roll coverage to both those guys, Allen is out there looking at a wide open middle of the field and being like, you know what? See ya.
Man, I'm slightly turned on by that. I'm sorry. I'm a little warm. I got to turn the air on.
Well, Cody Finney asked earlier.
I don't know what's happening.
Butter boobs. So yeah.
Ben, does the lack of news and highlights on our tight ends worry you? We haven't heard anything about Knox. Is Croft staying healthy? Well, to be honest, when we don't hear things, to me, that in a way is a good thing. Obviously, you want to hear the good stuff. Like you want to hear about great plays that happen or whatever. But if we don't hear about him, that means he's also not messing up. Because if he was messing up bad, the reports would be there. So I'm okay with that.
There was an early report that he had one rep and dropped it. So I'm not worried about Dawson Knox yet. So that's just me. I'm just not worried about him yet. And the reality is if he becomes a problem, Sweeney didn't look bad last year in preseason. So.
Mm-mm. My man Cody says, been watching Josh. His form is more defined. Elbows tucked, chin tucked, head locked, toes pointed, ball rolls off his fingertips. Josh Allen for MVP. I'm with you, bro.
But it's driving range. Right now it's driving range. Cody, I don't know if you play golf. I play a lot. Well, I used to play a lot of golf. On the driving range, bro, I hit every ball straight, 280 yards. Well, with my driver. And when I get on the course, I got a slight fade. Like it just always fades on me. It's driving range for him right now. We'll see what happens when the bullets start flying. So I love it, but let's save it until week 3. Not week 1, probably week 3 when he starts forgetting his mechanics a little bit.
Well, Rico brought up a point that we touched on earlier. Jason Kroom, I know that for the most part it does seem like we're sleeping on him, but
I'm not sleeping on him, but I know who's sleeping with him.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
Football politics.
Joshua wants to know what shirt I'm wearing. I am wearing the official Code of Conduct shirt, America's Team.
That's a hot shirt, bro. It's hot.
Check it out.
And I'm upset that I don't have one for free. That's not true. I'll support you. I'll buy one. I still need to get one for me and my daughter, McKenna. McKenna saw that shirt, and I quote, "That is sick." Like literally, that's what she said.
Well, if you want one though, I'll send you one.
No. I'll buy it. My 13-year-old is all about Bill's t-shirts, so this is like, and when she saw that shirt, she was in love. So yeah.
Well, if you follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, the links are in my bio. So you'll, or if anybody wants to know, just hit me up. I'll tell you where you can get them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we are 1 hour and 28 minutes in. It's probably time to sign this thing off. We had a great conversation tonight. I loved the interaction, and there's still, man, we are 90 minutes into this thing. There's still 120 people plus logged in. Before you go, smash that, hump that whatever platform you're watching on. Do me a favor. Here's the thing. I talked with Pat Moran. So I was on Pat Moran's show, Talking Buffalo yesterday, and the reality is this: podcasts, multicasts like these, vidcasts, don't gain in popularity unless you retweet them, unless you share them on Facebook, unless you tell your friends about them. Like, these are some of the best kept secrets. This alternative content that Buffalo Fanatics is bringing you, Jay Spence, myself, Rico, the Hoof guys, the Bills guys, Nap Nose Bills, the Bills Overdue, the Bills Basement. Like, there's so many. Like, Buffalo Fanatics is cranking it out. And if you don't tell your friends, shame on you, because the reality is this thing is not going to grow unless you start talking about it. So do me a favor, tell a friend. Next week, I want to see 240 people, because everybody on this thing brought a friend. You guys can chat with each other in the chats. I love the chat community. But yeah, so link to BF, everything. So if you scroll down, everything is down there. So if you like scroll down when we hang up, like the link tree is down there. You can find all the shows. Everything is down there. You can find my show. Jay Spence's show dropped on today. Dropped today with his conversation with Ryan Talbot. Was awesome. Share, like, smash, all that stuff. Hump. Should I say it? I don't even
Joe's
know.
in his zone.
Right. So, but my name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. Just super thankful to be here. Thankful for the platform that Rico and Pierre and Bobby give us. I'll let you talk a little bit.
Well, like my man Pierre says, the link to the Buffalo Fanatics Podcast Network is in the description on whatever you're watching this on. So please go check it out. Like Joe just said, we have some great talent on the network. The Hoof got last night, man. I'm telling you, if you missed their show last night, go back and watch it if you get some time. Those guys were hilarious. It was a great show.
That's not sustainable. What the funny stuff that happened, that like the banner falling down, like that's not sustainable.
It's gonna be tough for them to keep it going, but they have good content. Their podcast is great every week. So yeah, just like I said, the Bills guys tomorrow, Bills Overdue Saturday.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
Rico's Friday. So man, we got some good stuff going on.
A lot of stuff. Tell a friend, share, like, all that stuff. And the reality is, sorry, I just wanted to wrap up. So we were talking wide receivers tonight. We are on the fence. We are on the train of the Bills keeping 6 plus a 7th in Andre Roberts. Where we landed, just so you know, we landed at Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, John Brown, Gabe Davis, Isaiah Hodgins, and Isaiah McKenzie. Surprisingly enough, with Robert Foster being cut, and maybe a surprise trade of Duke Williams. So, do you have anything else to wrap up? Anything else to say?
No. But back to finish it. Support Buffalo Fanatics. The season is coming. You're going to have a lot of great content starting next week. I will have Lorenzo Alexander joining me on the Code of Conduct. So please make sure next Wednesday you guys download, stream, or however you listen to those things, and hump those likes, man.
Pump them all.